Good.
We're back. Apologies, everyone. I didn't even think to plug in my computer, and so we're dead. We're not live on YouTube or anything at the moment. It's a bummer because I had a really good spiel.
Yeah, the big spiel that was going there.
The spiel essentially was the value for value doesn't necessarily rely on Satoshis, so it could be used with something else. To my shame, I could foresee in the future it being something like Solana or another token which is easier for wallet creation, for example. That's one of the problems Alby's having at the moment, and just in general, people creating wallets. It's hard to spin up, use the Lightning Network, create liquidity. It's not easy, and so I could imagine in the future a version which is less idealistic. I like Bitcoin for its principles and for what it stands for, the way it can help the world, the whole notions of decentralized, of peer-to-peer networks, of open networks and things like this. But after reading a whole bunch of books, I can see that doesn't necessarily always end up the case. I look at Twitter. It used to be open source, used to use RSS, and then it went into a whole nother bullshit crappy level. So not a crappy level. It achieved network effects, and then they didn't
took off and shifted.
Yeah, they didn't need, and a lot of the problems that it has now, yes, they wouldn't be there if it had remained open source and based on RSS, but it also wouldn't be the megalithic, entity that it is at the moment in terms of global communication. So I'm starting to appreciate, I think value for value will be amazing. I think it will still change, still the way forward for digital content creators. How it ends up looking like, I could see myself becoming jaded and going, this isn't what it originally stood for. I think it'll still improve things, but a 2020 version of Chiron, or 2021 probably, because that's when I first found out about V4V, he could be disgusted with what 2028 Chiron perhaps would accept or and advocate for. So.
One thing that I'd be scared about is going to be more so in the sense of there is going to be a need for speed at some point. And if it doesn't hit launch territory or enough of a threshold of uptake, then I see a real possibility of it just getting gulped up with the rise of technology and eyeballs elsewhere. And by that, I mean, I don't see Instagram and Facebook and YouTube being forever, because eyeballs will go somewhere else at some point. And maybe they will upgrade and move on to something different, or the eyeballs will go somewhere else. That might be a similar thing here, where there's a period of time, I think, in the scheme that it participates in, it has a bit of a longer time frame. It's not competing to an Instagram or a social media platform. But if at some point in the future it doesn't reach, I don't know what time it is, but it doesn't reach escape velocity to actually get picked up, I think it just gets lost. It gets forgotten in the sense of it was there, but now the eyeballs have moved on to whatever, to the point that, I can't even really describe it, but all of a sudden you don't even need that, because maybe there is no requirement to send someone else any monetary value by Satoshis or not, because, I don't know, 80% of the population has been put out of work and you just get paid by defaults and there's no need for any of that transaction. And that's okay, well, that's not even needed then in this world, maybe. I don't know. But there's a limited lifetime to when something can actually uptake. I wouldn't say to you that would V4V work in 500 years? I'd be like, I think not. I think overwhelmingly maybe no. There'll be something else completely different by then. So yeah, there's a time and place for this thing to be built, and there's a limited lifetime for it to work correctly. I hope I'm optimistic that it will, but I'm realistic that it might not.
Yeah, and other technologies could make the whole concept redundant. If AI got so good that and no one was a digital content creator because AI content creation just dominated everything, and there was no humans. Value for value would perhaps the whole concept of it would be
one of the big I know I heard it at least a couple of times was, what if you could go to it became so good that you could go to an AI and be like, hey, today I want to listen to a podcast about this topic and this thing between these two people, and it'll generate it. Video, not video, in this angle, that angle, whatever. Does whatever. Same thing with movies. Hey, I want to watch a movie. I want it to be about this. I want the main character to be called my name. I want it to look like this. I want to do that. Create the whole thing. If at that point you're going to get into that level, and I honestly, I reckon we're going to get there in 10 years.
Yeah.
I reckon 10 years. Now, if you get to that point, what is the point of people checking podcasts? If you can generate whatever the hell you want. Now, a lot of people, I think in the current sphere of existence, will probably still want to watch things because you want to connect with other people. But you better believe your bottom ass that people who are like born now, like my daughter or anybody else, why would they even go searching for something when they can just generate it automatically that's going to do everything they need and not even know that there's like, you know, it is controlled by a government or by a company and then it influences in a particular way.
Yeah. Topic for another day. The human element, I think, will remain, but yeah, agreed.
Great.
Things can change and your ideas of how the world should be or you want it to be can vary drastically from what actually ends up happening.
Correct. But look, for now, what we're saying basically is if you could send through just a whole Bitcoin, if you're listening to this, very much appreciated. It would be good. If you do that, you will get a free T-shirt.
You get a couple of, you'll get one.
You'll get a T-shirt, you know, limited edition at this point in time. Worth a lot now. This is actually in Bitcoin in general going
our
up.
Eternal gratitude.
Eternal gratitude if you do that too as well. But no, you can support the podcast. Obviously, time, talent, treasure. Time, obviously, listening to the podcast at the moment. Sharing it with a friend. Talent, you know, we talked about a couple of things on AI. Are you using AI at the moment? Is there other stuff that we missed out that'd be interesting to share as well? Treasure, sending through a boostergram, right? Sending through a boostergram. Streaming as well, listening to the podcast while sending through some Satoshis helps out the podcast. Karen's going to be going off to Brazil. We're going to be trying to make it obviously work. It's time and it's investment. So any support that people do send through, it's very much appreciated.
100%. 100%.
All right, me Immortalites. This is the finale. Obviously no video at this point because we were going for a little while, so the laptop just kicked the gear.
My phone died as well. Ran out of battery.
Phone died as well. Damn, there you go. A couple of things dying. So for now,
will I make it to
Will we make it to Brazil?
Well,
you won't even know because we're starting at no tech from right now. Yeah, me Immortalites. Hope you're well wherever you are in the world. One out.
Karen out.
Good. Bye. Good.